What is going on, everybody? Thank you for watching another episode of Mika Says Sukas, and I am your host, Niko House. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Help us on our road to 10,000 subscribers. We have done absolutely phenomenal in the last 30 days. We're actually closing in on about 1,500 subscribers in less than 30 days, and that's like, woo! That's freaking awesome, so I want to thank you all for that. Make sure you join that one follow $1 campaign on Patreon if you have not, by clicking on that Patreon link in the description below and donating just $1. Let's show the mainstream media that if they will not invest in the truth, then we will absolutely invest in those who do. I want to go ahead and get started because this is something that should have been all over the news, right? This is some big stuff right here. I gotta give a shout out to H.A. Goodman. He actually discovered this tweet and did a video about it earlier this morning. It is February, possibly the 18th. Yeah, it's the 18th today. This tweet is from February the 16th. But H.A. Goodman reported on it earlier this morning. Go check out his video because you know he always includes a lot within his dialogue. So go check out H.A. Goodman if you have not checked that video out yet. But Rob Goldman, for those of you who do not know, Rob Goldman is the vice president of none other than Facebook. Me and him got to have a conversation because this censorship nonsense is, you know, I used to like Facebook. I used to love Facebook. I was actually applauding you all during the election, saying, wow, I'm impressed at what your platform has allowed people to do, how it's allowed people to connect, how people were able to have live stream, become like video journalists and investigative journalists and use that platform in such an effective way. And y'all just kind of screwed us, man. Y'all hurt us. Y'all hurting business out here. But nonetheless, I digress. Rob Goldman just took one for the team, people. He just took one for the team. He tweeted out on February 16, 2018, saying that most of the coverage of Russian meddling involves their attempt to affect the outcome in 2016 election. I have seen all of the Russian ads. I can say very definitely the swing of the election, the swing and the goal, oh, excuse me, the swing of the election was not the main goal. Ooh, ooh. Can I repeat that for y'all? Y'all mind if I repeat that? Oh, most of the coverage of Russian meddling involves their attempt to affect the outcome of the 2016 election, but I have seen all of the Russian ads, and I can say very definitively that swaying the election was not, in capital letters, not the main goal. This tweet only has 2,631 retweets and 4,258 retweets. That is absolutely ridiculous. This man just said the news has been using this nonsense with the ads and they're meant to help Trump and now the Bernie and Jill thing, which I'm going to cover. And the vice president is telling you, no, it's not. And you want to know what else he said? Oh, because it gets better. Yeah, it does. The majority of the Russian ad money spent happened after the election. We shared that fact, but very few outlets have covered it. It's because it does not align with the main media narrative of Trump and the election. Who is this guy and where has he been hiding for the last 3 years? Holy shit, bro. Look. Y'all, this whole time I thought Zuckerberg was, like, Zuckerberg is clearly with the establishment, right? We agree with that. Using Snopes, using political fact, using, you know, all that. That's the only reason you would only use those sources to clarify what is and is not fake news if you were aligned with the establishment. However, Rob Goldman seems to be of a different breed. And I like Rob Goldman now. I'm going to follow him on Twitter. You should follow him on Twitter too. Because, like I said, he says very directly the majority of the Russian ad spent, he's supposed to say money, he left that word out, but the Russian ad money spent happened after the election. We shared that fact, but very few outlets covered it because it did not align with the main media narrative of Trump and the election. The main goal of the Russian propaganda and misinformation effort is to divide America by using our institutions like free speech, social media against us. It has stoked fear and hatred amongst Americans. It has worked incredibly well. We are quite divided as a nation. The single best demonstration of Russia's true motives is in Houston anti-Islamic protests. Americans were literally puppeted into the streets by trolls who organized both sides of the protests. Understand something, people. I think that most people would agree that Russia does try to meddle in superpowered elections, like the one in the United States of America, like in Israel. I mean, any election you could think of, because their survival depends on it, because we're kind of a corrupt state. So I agree with Rob Goldman that Russia in some way, form, or fashion has tried to influence our election. But once again, I think we should also take a step back and say that does not mean the Russian government was necessarily involved. There are hackers all over the United States who does not work on behalf of the United States, nor do they represent the United States government, nor do they represent the interests of the people of the United States of America. They could just be trying to piss off other countries. We have people like that. But Rob Goldman says the majority of Russian ad money spent happened after the election. And here's what's even more interesting, because you know how I feel about this. I feel like this is once again, David Brock reaction. Because the DNC, David Brock, Hillary Clinton, David Washington Schultz, and all of them are reactionary people. They're not really smart. What's my motto, people? Y'all know my motto. You don't got to be smart to be corrupt. You don't have to be smart to be president. You don't have to be smart to be a millionaire. You just got to be able to play ball with the right people at the right time. When they say, hey, you gonna do what we tell you to do? All you gotta do is say, hell yeah, as long as you show me the money. That's all you have to be. Now, that does not mean that you have to be very intelligent. And this is once again an example of that, because it was clearly laid out time and time again that David Brock used bots. David Brock's super PAC, Media Matters, excuse me, not super PAC, non-profit, Media Matters, used bots. Do you know how easy it is to make it look like a bot came from Russia? It is not difficult at all. In fact, anybody who's ever taken a programming class could probably do that. So if you were trying to convince the world that bots were spreading fake news to divide the American people, especially because we saw already that dark horse organization that was sending people into Trump's rallies to cause mass hysteria and rambunctiousness amongst the people who were there. I'm not saying that there weren't racist people at Trump's rallies. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that you can acknowledge both things. They are not mutually exclusive. You can say that the DNC, the Clinton camp, her super PACs tried to cause friction between Trump supporters and the protesters, and still acknowledge that Trump has pretty racist supporters, and still acknowledge that Trump is a bad president, but still acknowledge that Russia was not trying to help him get elected, because there was not any incentive to help him more than there was incentive to help Hillary Clinton. You can acknowledge all of those things at once. It is not fucking impossible to do so. We are intelligent. Most of us are intelligent human beings, people. But what Rob is saying is true. There is an attempt to splinter us, but I don't know if I would agree with him that it's coming directly from Russia. Because once again, it's coincidental that all this started happening after the election. They started spending all this ad money and causing mass hysteria. However, Russia would not be... It would be, wouldn't it behoove them to do that during the election? Because like Rob said, clearly it did not happen during the election. But what it seems like is a reaction, right? Because then the mainstream media, the Democratic Party, the DNC, all of them, David Brock, Hillary Clinton, all of them, mainstream media started pushing the idea that Russia was indeed meddling, that Russia was purchasing these ads, that Russia was hiring or putting bots on Twitter to spread fake news. And of course, after that reporting happened, all of a sudden, Russia has all these ads on Facebook. Ooh, how coincidental. Isn't that funny how every time y'all say something happened, we don't see anything about it until, like, they said that Russia hacked the election and there was no proof of this before. And now all of a sudden there's all kinds of proof of it. And it just conveniently got released after or in the process of Hillary Clinton losing. Hey, what do I know, right? What do I know? Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you click subscribe. Hit that like button as well. Turn on that notification bell. And always, always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance. Peace.